Diane and Dwayne lived in Rush City, Minnesota, and that was about 35 miles basically north. And going to their house was very special. During the war, of course, Second World War, gasoline was short and we didn't get to go as often as I would have liked. But there was a little train that ran between my town of Lindstrom and Rush City, where it was kept in the depot. And when I was probably 5 or 6, 7 at the most, I rode alone to my grandmother and cousin's house. That little train that we called the Dinky, Great Northern Pacific train, probably was the beginning point of my fascination with trains. I was very eager to leave my community and head off to college and kind of get a fresh start. And I had learned enough about what I thought I wanted to do to choose St. Olaf College, in part because it had a very strong science department, especially chemistry, which was where I wanted to focus. I think also it had to do with wanting to leave some of the Swedishness of my background. No one had ever gone to St. Olaf College from my town. I have 4 very, very special worship services that were high points in my life. And they have to do in some ways with travel. The first of the 4 was in 1957 when the Lutheran World Federation Assembly was held in Minneapolis. On the opening night of the assembly, the auditorium seating 10,000 people was packed to overflowing, and the crowd even filled Central Lutheran and the Methodist Church locally and the Lutheran Brotherhood Auditorium and some other buildings. I don't even know how many people altogether were there, but I was lucky enough to be in the auditorium as Paul Mann's fine organist that I knew cranked up that marvelous 1927 Kimball pipe organ, and we sang at the top of our lungs, Praise to the Lord the Almighty. It was just a marvelous experience. The second favorite worship service would be the 1000th anniversary of the Russian Orthodox Church. It was on the 28th of July, 1988, and we were in Kiev. And I was very lucky because I had the best camera in our group, and our tour leader negotiated having one camera in this 2.5-hour service, where everyone stood, by the way, for the entire service. And I got a better spot, so I took pictures. And the thing that I remember most was about 20-30 minutes into the service, I thought, you know, all of this is a sham. These people have been paid to come here. There aren't any Christians here. This is a communist plot. And then all of a sudden, the whole place erupted. Everybody sang the creed and the Lord's Prayer. And it was just very tender and tear-filled time. The greatest gifts of my life were my spouse Shirley and our children, Kristen, Carl, and Karen. And what a joy to grow up with them and watch them grow and participate in some of their activities as they were maturing. If I had it to do over again, I would spend more time with these dear kids as they were growing. It goes fast, and all of a sudden they've grown up. All three of them went to St. Olaf College for their own reasons, and they all married St. Olaf graduates. Carl married. I have two crosses that have a very special meaning for me. One is the St. Olaf cross that I wear most days. On the back side are battle axes, and Olaf used battle axes in the year 995 when he Christianized Norway. The other cross is this one that I made at Holden Village in the year 1970. One of my most precious memories had to do with our 50th wedding anniversary. We had finished celebrating in a wonderful lunch on Pitt's Nair at 10,000 feet. We were above St. Moritz, Switzerland. All of our family was there, and our 8 grandkids were excited about the scavenger hunt that I had prepared for them. One of the things they were supposed to do was to pray a prayer auf Deutsch out loud in a church. And they walked in, went down to the front row, and said out loud, loud enough for anyone to hear, but no one was in the church but us, fortunately. Alle guten Gaben, alles was wir haben, kommt to Gott von dir, Dank sei dir dafür. It means roughly all good gifts come from God, and we are going to give thanks to God for these gifts.